Before you hire anyone to help you buy or sell in Seattle, there are 8 questions most people never think to actually ask. The answers will tell you everything you need to know about whether you found the right person, and a few of those will tell you in about 60 seconds whether you found the wrong one. A lot of buyers and sellers pick an agent the way they'd pick a restaurant, based on whoever shows up first or on a search or whoever a friend used 3 years back. That works out sometimes, but in a market like Seattle, where the difference between a skilled agent and a mediocre one can cost you $30,000 or more on a purchase or 6 weeks on a listing, it's worth spending 10 minutes actually vetting someone before you commit. Here are the 8 questions and what you're actually listening for. Number 1, how many buyers or sellers have you represented in Seattle in the last 12 months? And can you tell me about one deal that got difficult? What you're listening for when you get this question is a real answer with specifics, a deal that got complicated, a problem that came up, and exactly how they handled it. Anyone who gives you a transaction count and then tells you everything went smoothly is telling you more than they realize. Either they haven't done enough transactions to have had a hard one, and that's definitely true in this market, or they're not being honest about it. Every experienced agent in this market has had deals go completely sideways. The question is whether they can talk about it with clarity and without defensiveness. Question number 2, what's your average list price to sale price ratio on the homes you've represented? For buyers, what you're listening for here is you want to know if their clients are consistently winning offers or consistently losing them. For sellers, you want to know if their listings are actually achieving the prices they're promising, because a lot of agent will promise a much higher price than they can get it. It's called buying the listing. An agent who consistently closes near or above the list price on well-priced homes is doing their job. An agent who consistently closes 8% below list is either pricing high to win the listing, to buy that listing, or has a marketing problem. Either way, you'll want to know. Question 3, how do you handle a situation where my interests conflict with the deal getting done? This is the question that separates agents who work for you from agents who work for the commission. In a competitive market, there are moments where the right advice is don't write this offer or walk away from this deal. An agent motivated primarily by closing will give you different advice than one who is genuinely working in your interest. The right answer acknowledges that the conflict does exist and has happened and explains specifically how they navigate it. An agent who says that never comes up is not someone you want representing you. If you've already interviewed agents and any of these questions have come up or didn't, I genuinely want to know. And if there's a question you asked that I haven't covered here, put it in the comments below, because I'm going to be making a follow-up video on this and the questions from comments will be in it for sure. Question number 4, what's your process for pricing a home and how do you handle it when we disagree on the number? There is no objectively correct price for any home. There is a defensible range based on comparable sales data, condition adjustments, and market timing, and then there's judgment. What you want to hear is a specific process, how they pull the comps, how they adjust for condition or bedroom bathroom count, how they think about supply and demand in the specific micro market that you're in. And you specifically want to know how they handle disagreement, because you and your agent will not always agree. Let me tell you that, and what happens in those moments that matter. Question number 5, who else is going to be working on my transaction and when will I hear from them? Some agents are team leads who hand you off to an assistant or maybe a buyer's agent after the first meeting. And that's not inherently bad. In some cases, it means better service. In our scenario, I lead the team, but also everyone on the team helps you with the transaction and plays a specific role. But you should know that going in. If you're meeting with a high volume agent who runs a team, find out who your actual point of contact will be on Tuesday afternoon when you have a question, for example. Question 6, what do you see as the biggest risk to this deal going sideways? Every real estate transaction has a moment of maximum risk, an inspection finding, a financing condition, an appraisal gap, a title issue. An agent who has been through enough transactions can tell you in advance where the vulnerabilities are in your specific situation. That kind of proactive awareness is what distinguishes an experienced agent from one who is figuring it out in real time. Question 7, how do you prefer to communicate and how quickly do you typically respond? Simple question, but in a market where you sometimes have 4 hours to decide on an offer, your agent's response time is not a minor detail. Ask directly, what's your typical response window? Weekends, evenings, and what's the communication channel? Text, call, or email? You're making sure you have compatible expectations before you're in a time-sensitive situation and find out the hard way that maybe you don't. Which of these is the one you'd be most nervous to ask when you're interviewing agents? Drop it in the comments. I'll tell you how I personally answer each one if you want to know, and I'm not going to avoid those hard questions. Question 8. Can I speak with 2 or 3 of your most recent clients? References can be table stakes. They're not a special ask. If the answer is anything other than an immediate yes, if there's hesitation, redirection, or a long pause, that can be your answer. Any agent who has done good work for their clients in the last 6 months can produce references within 24 hours. That's the simple bar. You don't have to use all 8 of these questions in one conversation. Pick the 2 or 3 that matter most to you, but go in with questions. The agent who gives you straight answers without getting defensive or pivoting to their production numbers and without making you feel like you're being difficult about it, that's probably the one worth trusting in this scenario. Whether you're 90 days out and just starting to figure out who you'd work with, or 30 days out and having these conversations, or you're 3 months in and wondering if you chose the right person, knowing what to ask changes the dynamic completely. These questions aren't confrontational. They're professional due diligence. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Seattle and you want to have a real conversation, not a sales pitch, not me trying to get you as a client, my contact information is below, and that first call is free and it's just a conversation starter. The video I'd point you to next is the one where I walk through exactly what the first call with me looks like. No surprises, no pressure. It's in the playlist and it answers the question a lot of people have before they even reach out. So watch that one next.